You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
The views expressed by the individuals during this broadcast are their own opinions, and they may not be the same as those of their group or other organizations they may be involved with.
All medical advice during our broadcast is not a medical opinion and should be checked with your medical physician.
Good day and welcome to the Mushy Moment with myself and my awesome co-host, Rev Cindy. Today, Tuesday, May 21st, 2024, here on paceradio.net and streaming everywhere.
Streaming? Streaming. Hi. I said streaming or screaming?
I'm screaming. It's streaming.
Yes. Yes. Okay. That's good. Hi, Steve. How's your day?
I heard you're having a nice, sunny, beautiful day out there today.
It is freaking beautiful here. It's
currently rainy and blustery and gross and cold here. So I'm going to pretend I'm in Nova Scotia.
Currently 26 degrees here. 25. It's currently 25 degrees here.
Yeah, braggart. I don't know what the degrees are. I just know that it's cold.
Well, we could look that up. It is 10 degrees in Richmond right now and raining. Just, 10 degrees.
There was a hailstorm yesterday. I was out in Delta. There was a hailstorm. It was one of those moments where I got out of my car and walked about 30 feet, and all of a sudden, there was this massive hailstorm hit. Wow. And then I ran back to the car and hopped back in and went, that sucked.
Yeah, I lived in Winnipeg a long time ago, and it was like day one of being in Winnipeg, and I had moved up there. I was staying with my aunt and uncle when I first got there, while I was like trying to find a place and all that jazz. And my uncle gets home and he puts his car in the garage, and it's beautiful out, and I'm like, I said, that's, it's interesting you're using your garage. We don't do that in Nova Scotia. In Nova Scotia, our garages are usually for storage, right? So to see a car in a garage, I thought it was something weird. So he says to me, he goes, there's hailstorms here, and they break out like in no time. He goes, it's not hail. He goes, it's hail. Like it's golf ball, tennis ball size hail. He had already had to have body work done and his windows replaced on his car because he had left it out in the last hailstorm. So I laughed at him and I said, sure, I had never heard of anything like that. Well, later on that day, my first day there, like in the evening, hailstorm came along. It went dark and the hail came down, and he was right. It was golf ball size hail. Like it was huge. Like
it's not called winter peg for nothing.
Those
were snowballs coming down. It doesn't come down in flakes there. It comes down in big balls. Quick and hard.
Well, yeah, winter peg is right. Like normally for my birthday, which is the beginning of September, I'm in sundresses, we're outside, my feet are in the sand. In Winnipeg, aka winter peg, I was building snowmen and going sledding on my birthday. Yeah, it was crazy. It was crazy. Our guest she's there, but I'm only seeing white. I'm going to ask her if she can hear me to log out and log back in again while we are chatting, and we will wait for her to come back in.
Sure. It did that glitch out thing.
Yeah, I think there's a glitch out there. I'll show you, right? It's just, that's all we've got.
The digital software making life easier.
Yes. So we will just keep chatting until she logs out and logs back in, which I'm sure she will do. She was actually in the car on her way home, so she might be waiting to get inside and use her computer or something, which is totally fine. And I have no issues waiting. I've got 25-degree weather to wait in.
Braggart.
So, Steve, you've been doing some interesting stuff the last week. Why don't you tell us about that while we're waiting for our guest to reboot?
I have.
Yeah.
What have I been doing?
Ceremonies. The dog being there. Cute pillow stuff.
Oh.
The dog with cute pillow stuff.
I went to a cacao ceremony hosted by Anki from Mexico Sagrado, and it went into a longer bit of a medicine thing and some sound healing, and there was a lot of watch. There was a good group of us, and it's always nice when people are all focused on their healing and harmonizing in the same energy and frequency, and which allows you to open the heart a little more, and the cacao helps to open up the heart a little more, and there was a lot of healing happening. It was a beautiful thing. Then we went from that into a mushroom ceremony, and some people will probably think that you're just drinking cacao, you're just doing mushrooms, but it's not. There's a lot of intent, there's a lot of ceremony put into it, and the me coming in more from a science end, I'm really learning more about the importance of the ceremonial aspect, the gratitude of giving thanks that the ceremony exists, because without our ancestors having done the research and the trials on finding those medicines, the medicines wouldn't be here for us. So, and then when you take the science end of focused intent and energy and how it can change the crystal structure of water, it can change how a plant grows, how it can turn a person's day from a happy day into an absolute negative aspect. When you put ceremony into that, you give a gratitude and a positive in such a way that I actually feel the difference. John's asking, how come there's no mushy moment? Is it not going?
There is. I just shared to I've got it now shared to the mushy moment room and to the microdosing room.
Okay.
For anybody watching that is curious, Facebook and StreamYard are having an argument, and they're not letting us share directly. They're not letting us stream directly to group rooms. So I have to go into the Pace Radio Network page and share it to the groups. So both the microdosing group where we usually stream and Mushy Moment where we usually stream, we cannot physically stream to. And I forgot for 5 seconds, and I did get in there, and it is shared now.
Oh, okay. Hey, John, it's on now.
So hopefully it will pop up on his feed here shortly, and he will be able to watch. So anybody that's watching us on a replay, I just gave the explanation to. It sucks. It's. I think it's a Facebook thing, not a StreamYard thing.
And if anybody's interested in any of those cacao ceremonies or the healing ceremonies, Anki's a sound healer. He's a Bufo practitioner. He's traditional Mexican ceremony on from his lineage, and he's awesome at explaining the aspect of ceremony and the purpose of ceremony, and how the energy flows because of ceremonial aspect, which is a beautiful thing. It's I'm noticing the difference in, I do cacao every day. I utilize medicines every day. And when I'm there and I do stuff in the ceremony aspect, I notice the difference. And one of the key takeaways that he said on this one that I gathered was, he said, the purpose of doing ceremony in medicine is to remember to bring the ceremony into your daily life, because you will use medicine in your daily life. So put ceremony into the medicine. And for the longest time, I didn't hear that. But this time I heard it. And it's like, yes, I do my microdoses every day. but I only do a microdose ceremony once in a while. Why am I not adding ceremony and gratitude into every time I take it? When I do the mushroom powder, it's the same thing. It's plant
And
medicine.
your ceremony only needs to last 5 seconds. Like you pick up your bottle of microdoses and all you need to do is invite in the spirits with the medicine you were about to take and give thanks. And it can take a very short time, and hold it next to your heart and put your intentions in and then take it. And then once you take it, say thank you once more. That's a mini ceremony. That's all it needs to be for, like, it's that simple. But now that I've interrupted, we do have our guest. She is in the back room. Her camera is working. So we can, talk about her now and bring her on anytime you're ready.
Well, let's talk about her.
Let's talk about her.
Our guest is Rosie. I don't know how to pronounce that last name, actually. I believe
I think it's Rurka. Yeah, she's saying yes.
Okay, perfect. She runs the cannabis substitution program out in Surrey. She's used cannabis substitution to help her out of her addiction. I'll let her talk about that end of things, but she, she's come from what a lot of people would say is a very dark area and a dark place, into a place of giving back and helping and sharing the medicines that helped her find her way out. So let's bring her on.
Welcome,
Day,
Rosie, to the Mushy Moment. Oh, you're muted. Just a second. There you go. There we go. Yes. Right. Rosie, this usually takes up the first half of the show. Our first question. I'm usually the one that breaks in and asks it, though. So the first question really is your story. And why? What brought you to doing what you do? The beautiful things that you do. What's your story? Why are you doing it?
Oh God!
And I know you've got one.
Yeah. Like Steve said, I guess we don't always get to pick and choose our birth and our day and what we get born into or who we get born to. And, since my earliest memory, I have struggled with my mental health and with trauma, living in care my whole life growing up, bounced around a lot. Inevitably, at a youth, by the time I became a youth, 14, I was already addicted to crack cocaine. And I was already, working the streets and full blown. It didn't take long, right? Because I already had, I believe, precipitating factors to addiction. And so finding those drugs was like, I found the love of my life. It was a way I didn't have to cope with life anymore, and I could just slide through life and just exist. And I didn't really even want to exist, right? A lot of abandonment, a lot of, all those issues we face when we go through the trials and tribulations of early childhood adversities, right? By the time I was 18, I had my first child, and she was apprehended because of my addictions. And but that wasn't until 3 years after she was born. I did try to use alternative ways of therapies. I've gone to detox several times, went to several different treatment facilities, and tried all kinds of different healing programs to try to straighten my life out when I had Anna the first time. And I don't know, just nothing ever really just stuck and stayed with me, I guess. And I ended up progressively going back into addiction, ending up on the Vancouvers downtown Eastside in 2001, and inevitably ending up on IV drugs, homeless, living on the streets, basically dying, I was a very, very horrible time. And I stayed down there till about 2008, and then I got clean. I went to treatment. So I chose in the beginning the 12-step abstinence-based program, right? And amazing program. I will never, ever take away from what the 12-step program does for people in recovery and in the connection and the support, and knowing that there's people in this world that are like me, you know, and I fit here, you know. I'm not the only fucked up person. I'm sorry, I should swear, but I'm not the only messed up person in
All
this
good.
world.
You can swear.
And yeah, so I stayed in the 12-step program, ran groups, I sponsored women. I ran for 3.5 years, I ran a co-ed recovery house. I opened a house and I ran groups and I helped a lot of people find recovery, and I relapsed again and I overdosed and I died. Yeah. And so my friend brought me back, and like I it's like, you know, that relapse didn't just happen. There's a lot of things that led to it. Mentally, I could see how I brought that. It's a relapse is a whole process. Like I can think about relapse, I can think about going and getting loaded, but it's putting into action, right? And actually progressively trying to get to that point. So that takes time, right? So it didn't just happen overnight. The relapse happened way before it physically happened, right? And my head, I knew I was missing something, I think, and I made a bad lapse of judgment, and by the grace of God, I was brought back, and after that, so this is the critical time where I struggled. You got to remember this, okay? Because I'm in a 12-step program for 4 years, and now I'm choosing medical cannabis. I'm not choosing my DOC, which is heroin, crack cocaine, but I'm choosing to use cannabis as medicine because I've been on all kinds of pharmaceutical medications. Am I still here? I've been on tons. I've been on dexedrine. Oh, I was 14. They were popping me full of dexedrine, you know, pharmaceutical crystal meth. Oh, all that stuff. All kinds of, benzo, clozapam, trazodone, Seroquel, all those cocktails of medications they give everybody with mental. Oh, you're sick? Here's a Ritalin. No, you know, and it didn't help. The sleep meds made me gain over 60 pounds, right? A lot of adversities with the meds. If I didn't have them, the withdrawal was really excruciating. I can't go without this special med, or you get brain zaps, right? So I said, I don't want these meds. And they're not helping me. And so I'm like, okay, I'm going to smoke some cannabis. It's going to help with my sleep. It's going to help, it does help, right? Help with my sleep. And that's also, so slowly I started to try the cannabis, to use it. But in my head, I still struggle because I'm like, oh my God, I'm not abstinent anymore. I'm not in a 12-step program. So you got to understand, I don't have that support anymore. Because the only desire for membership is a desire to stop. The only requirement for membership is a desire to stop using drugs or alcohol. But you understand, there's a fine line. And if I went into a Narcotics Anonymous meeting and said, "Oh, I'm clean for over a year," some people would turn their nose at that.
Yeah.
Look, I had a friend of mine who uses cannabis medicinally. She just took a 20-year cake in Narcotics Anonymous. But you know what? Not everybody believes that you're, you know what I mean? If you have any familiarity with 12-step program, that's how they are. And they're very judgy. Right?
Yes. Yeah.
So I didn't feel like that was my place anymore. And I continued to use cannabis. And I continued, I started to I think it was about 6 years ago, I started making cookies and working with Rain City Housing. And this is before I even met Neil. And I started making cookies to give to Rain City Housing every week for their OPS site, because people that were accessing the overdose prevention services were liking these cookies to help them, right? And maybe even some of them didn't even use hard drugs, but they'd help them with pain or whatever else. But it was helping people, right? And then so someone saw what I was doing and said, "Have you ever met Neil Magnuson?" And I said, "No." And set up a meeting, and I went down to his shop in Vancouver and I met him, and it was like 2 peas in a pod. I'm like, oh my God, where have you been all my life? You're amazing. Just the things he was doing on the downtown east side. And I took to it. I was like, yeah. So that was about 5 years ago, but I was not thinking, oh, I'm going to start a Surrey CSP or anything like that. I mean, first of all, you need to have a way to support this type of thing, right? If you're going out every week. But I started to kind of get more enmeshed in the 420 community. It's like I kind of created a new support group for myself that were like me, because I know a lot of people who are like me, used to be hardcore addicts and are using medical cannabis and are got great lives today, right? Like there's so many of us. And so we have like our little Cali sober group now. That's what I consider our community, is a group of people that will support each other, you know, and it's not just about the cannabis. It's a whole bigger picture to, and a reason why I got involved. And I kind of, you know, kept tabs on what Neil was doing and spent a lot of time with Neil. And I brought it up to Neil one day. I said, hey, what do you think about me starting a Surrey CSP? He said, well, he said somebody had done that. He said there was a couple people that had started one, and I guess it wasn't very successful. They said they had a lot of police pushback, a lot of city pushback about it.
Yes,
And
yeah.
I was
I
like, okay,
remember
well, you know what?
when it started,
You know
there was a
me,
lot.
I'm not afraid of cops, you know that. So I was like, well, I'm not really afraid of cops. I can talk to them. They're humans, right? Just like I'm a human. And in December 17th, 2022, I did my first outreach. I got a couple signs made and I gathered some stuff, a lot of stuff. I got some donors that backed me and for food and stuff. Safeway and Starbucks supports me. And I go every week and grab these food donations. But, you know, it's the Weed Fairy shop that's been the core, a lot of it. And of course, you know, I've had Heisenherb Dan Borscht, who's been a huge supporter of helping me, and you know, he came and joined me for 6 months after 6 months of me starting the CSP. It was after the Newton CSP was with me originally first too, and then the Newton CSP went to Newton, and then I took Dan on board in Surrey for about 8 months, and then he expanded because he needed to learn the ropes and stuff like that, and so he expanded to Langley, and so as a result of me taking that risk, I think it's really cool is that 3 other CSPs have been started on this side of the Lower Mainland, when in comparison there was only one before, right? And so what was really great though about the CSP and me doing the CSP is that I have an extensive background, you know, the lived experience. I'm also, you know, a full-time community support worker. I work in the field. I help a lot of people that are entrenched find some sort of hope and normality in their lives despite these poisonous, toxic drugs that are plaguing our streets and killing all our friends and our family and our loved ones. And I just, if I can save one person, I don't even care if it's by giving them a doobie or if it's just a conversation we've had. I feel like I went through all those trials and tribulations to get me right here and make me who I am today and to be the service provider that I am, right? If I didn't have that background, there's no way I could do this work. There's no way I could understand harm reduction from the perspective I understand. Maybe like you're giving me, so this is what someone said to me. So you're giving people cannabis to get them off of meth. Aren't you just substituting one drug for another? I said, if that's what I'm doing, I'd rather see a pothead than a meth head any day. So if that's what you want to look at it as, so I'm substituting one drug for another, fine.
That's kind of the name of the program is cannabis.
In a harm reduction eyes, I'm reducing the harm involved in his meth use, which is a lot more harmful. And actually, weed isn't even harmful. So it's harmful to a drug that isn't harmful, that can actually help you chill out and maybe eat some food and sleep and have some calm, you know? So that was my torque back to that little situation. Like if you know a meth addict, like I know lots, I'm telling them, why don't you just smoke a joint? Just smoke a joint. Your life would be so much better. You know? So yeah, you know, the CSP has been like, wow, it's been over a year and a half now, and it's still going good. It's still going strong. I have no chance of, like stopping, and especially with everything that's come to fruition recently. You know, I just feel like it's funny because I'm going to tell you, there's times where I'm like, wow, it's hard, right? Every week going out, finding the supplies, it's hard. It isn't easy. And I'm like, oh, but something in just keeps pushing me to do it. I don't know if it's divine power. I don't know what it is, but it's like no matter how many times in my head I'm like, I don't want to do this anymore. You know, we all get there, right? I feel like maybe I'm not making a difference. We all go there too, right? I go, whoa. I go, whoa. No, it's funny. I'll go to an outreach and then somebody will say something to me like, you realize I look forward to seeing you every week, Rosie, or hey, you gave me that cookie last week. I haven't drank all week.
Yeah, it's the thank yous that come back.
That's why
Little
I do
bonuses.
it.
Magic.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's why I do it.
Yeah, it's hard not to when you get those back and you see the lives being changed and you know, but stuff doesn't work for everybody. There's some people that it might not work for, and you know,
Not.
a lot of it's
There is.
mindset.
You know what? If there was a cookie cutter solution for addiction, then we wouldn't be here. People would be able to go to treatment, spend 90 days and get clean, but it's not easy. This is a mental, physical, spiritual, emotional disease that encompasses every part of your life. And you not the drugs aren't the problem. It's you're coping. You're coping with life the way you know how, and it becomes normal. Like I'm telling you at work this morning, like just like the poor youth. Like I work with youth right now that are very like brain injuries, in addictions, and pulling up shopping carts and garbage bins full of stolen power tools. And I'm like, he's like, oh no, and I said to him, I said, like I try to explain to him, you're taking someone's livelihood away, but I also try to say to him, like, but he goes, you know what, Rosie? He goes, I know I'm a fucking idiot. I said, no, you're not. You're doing what you know how to do and how to cope with your life. You're not an idiot. You're desperate. Right? Now, if I could get that kid on weed, he's like, I don't smoke weed. It makes me psychosis. I'm like, what are you talking about?
What are you in right now? Yeah.
What are you in right now, man? Oh, fuck. It's funny. A lot of, I find that a lot of people that are addicted to meth don't like to smoke weed, eh?
Well, they don't want something that brings them down. The reason they're doing the meth is because it speeds them up. Yeah, they like the life goes by faster.
Where am I? Yeah, I guess so.
No, it's I'm congrats on it being a year and a half and going strong. That's good, and on it expanding. That's great.
And you know what's great though is I've actually have made rapport with in Surrey's new Surrey community action police force. Like they've come and sat in the parking lot, and I explained everything I was doing, and they were like, you know what, we're not going to stop you. Like what can they really do, right? You're giving stuff away. So they all know me. They're all aware of me, but they have never harassed me.
Well, they'd probably rather have, people eating edibles and smoking joints and crack pipes and meth pipes as well, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, true.
And at least there's an alternative. I know Jessie was out there one day and she showed up at your CSP.
Your daughter came to the CSP. She sure did. A couple times, actually.
She speaks quite highly about it and helps a lot of people. Yeah.
Yeah, she's come a couple of times. Yeah, I've seen her there. It's awesome to hear. Yeah.
Hey, should we? Oh, look at you point. Oh, my hand was pointing too, but I was pointing the wrong direction. It's time for us to take a break. Time to check out our sponsors, pay some bills. You're here with us live on the Mushy Moment. PaceRadio.net, streaming everywhere. And we'll be right back.
You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at PaceRadio.net.
Cannabis edibles are an effective way to manage pain and other ailments, especially when you deal with your trusted partner, Legacy 420, in Tyendinaga Mohawk territory. You see, we lab test every product on site to ensure proper dosage every time, which is critical when consuming cannabis edibles. All Legacy 420 edibles are made by our classically trained baker and chocolatier, and we also have super tasty vegan options.
Our baker has been in the industry for 25 years. She's also a chocolatier. Everything from savory to sweet, your chocolate bars, brownies, butter tarts, you name it, we make it.
Talk to our knowledgeable Cannatex about our incredible variety available. Give your trusted partners a call. Legacy 420 out on your road.
In February of 2022, the Victoria Cannabis Buyers Club and Ted Smith were fined $6.5 million. This for helping 8,500 patients with access to medical cannabis. In our interview with Ted, he spoke to us about how people can donate to help in an upcoming court challenge. And here is part of that interview. From what I've seen lately, I believe that you've got something that you're trying to do as far as fundraising to deal with this next court challenge.
For now, people can write checks directly to Jack Lloyd Law Corporation or send e-transfers to savethevcbc@gmail.com. I guess those are the two easiest ways for people to help right now.
PACE Radio is the People Advocating Cannabis Education Radio Network.
Limestone City Hydroponics is Kingston, Ontario's hydroponics shop. Take your growing to the next level and create the optimal environment with a tent kit, or maximize your yield with an ebb and flow flood table kit. Either way, Limestone City Hydroponics has more sizes and options to fit your needs. Are you looking for the power of the sun that adapts to your budget? Then look no further, as they have professional grow lighting. They have indoor grow systems that are easy and cost effective, with many options to fit your living space and lifestyle. Cultivate your growing potential. We have everything you need to succeed. And if you can't make it to the store, they offer local delivery to the greater Kingston area. Remember, when you're looking for experts to help you grow, then look no further than the locally owned Limestone City Hydroponics, 105 Sunderland Drive in Kingston, Ontario. Call them at 613-548-0420.
Enjoy the buzz of legalization with Campbellford Lifestyle Shop. From lights to plant nutrients, books, consumption accessories, and more, we've got all your basics to grow or consume cannabis. Visit our info center or take a look at our piercing services and body jewelry, now available in-store through Campbellford Lifestyle Shop, 17 Bridge Street West, Campbellford.
We are People Advocating Cannabis Education here at paceradio.net.
Welcome back to the Mushy Moment, streaming live to you here at paceradio.net and everywhere. We're back with Rosie from the Cannabis Substitution Program.
Amazing. Rosie, you've got quite a story. I resonate with a lot of it. Having shares a few similarities. I come from a life of addiction myself, and other things caused it. Childhood stuff, of course. I want to commend you on all of the steps that you've taken. The 12-step program when you did that. I mean, just amazing. I'm so proud of you for taking the steps that you've taken, for getting sober, and for deciding to share those gifts with other people in the form of giving back and showing other people the steps that they can possibly take. I think that's commendable and amazing. And, I hope and pray that you reach not just one person, but 100 people, and that those 100 people reach 100 people, and those 100 people reach, and it continues on. And I see it, growing and becoming something spectacular. And there is a personal connection. You having helped, Steve's daughter. When I saw the picture of her that you guys took, like somebody was taking pictures for CSP, and you guys made a post about how you guys were out that day. And I'm like, oh my goodness, that's Steve's daughter. And then later on in the evening, Steve and I were talking, and he goes, yeah, so Jesse was out and met Rosie. And I'm like, the picture's right here. I know, right? So, and I've met you at a number of different events that I've been out there for, just trying to raise awareness for this beautiful plant and others, because it's, cannabis is an amazing plant. I often refer to it as my gateway medicine, because it led me to mushrooms, which led me to iboga, which led me to other beautiful medicines that help me fight my CPTSD. And I'm doing okay, right? Something I wanted to bring up, just as we're going along, you told us of how you found out about the CSP and how you started it. And I just wanted to take a moment, and I told you before the show we would do this, to send some love out to Neil Magnuson himself. He is in hospital, and he has been fighting hard the last month and a half, and he has been transferred to a second hospital, has he not?
Yes.
Yeah, and the feeding tube is not for Neil, correct?
Yeah, he's not strong enough for. They St. Joseph didn't have the level of care that Neil ended up requiring, so he was moved, right? And I'm sorry.
It's okay.
So he's in palliative care now, and they were hoping yesterday they could get him. They could try to get a feeding tube because he's not getting anything down. IV is the only way he's getting any sort of vital nutrients, right? And they said, I guess as of what I know right now, he's just way too weak, and he keeps he hasn't been so down as he has been in the last 3 days. I know some of his comments. Him saying, "My time is short." I guess when we're going, we know, right?
But he's still posting positive love, which is a beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, all of his posts are
the strength, the grace is beautiful.
We love it. Yeah,
So I don't know if you know, but 420 this year was a little bit of a fuckery again.
Always is.
We were all supposed to be together, and I know that didn't really happen, and it was fine. I believe that there was a protest and there was a party.
There was
420. So the wonderful party that they had at Victoria Hall, great party, great turnout, I see. And, kudos to those guys. And we needed all the support we could get at 420. It was Neil's dying wish that the community came together in his right for all the hard work he'd done. Oh, how many years he's fought for where we are today, even with having a slight stupid legalization, legal lie, but still, it was a no-brainer for me. I'm gonna, we're gonna have to make this happen. And we didn't know what to expect. It was not planned. We didn't even plan the day. We just showed up. We said, we're gonna go there. We're gonna protest. And it ended up being thousands of people there.
It was beautiful. All the
pictures. Go live, cannabis to the crowd for him. It was epic, right? And that thing is the thing with this 420 was the first 420 we haven't had, Neil,
in a long time.
And Cannabis Day is coming July 1st. We've already got that off the ground. We have a huge headliner coming in. We're going back to the art gallery. This is a political protest. This is not a party. This is a political protest. There are going to be countless speakers. I think Sterling's going to come from Saskatchewan. Glenn says, and do some emceeing for us and share too as well. We got Dana Larson, who's a great. Yeah, and anybody else, I know it's hard. You were just out here, Cindy, so I know traveling that far, right, is difficult. But we're going to do we're going to go to the art gallery on July 1st. And Neil's in the background planning all that too, right? And I don't know. It's going to be tough, man.
It is. It is. It's going to be tough, but, he is, he's had the last month and a half. He has been sending some beautiful messages the last week or so. Every message that he posts is positive and trying to get people to love each other and stop listening to rumors and listen to your heart.
Yeah. There's so many gross things he said that aren't even true all the time.
About so many different people, and it's a sin.
Yes.
And, and I'm loving seeing the messages.
Backlash. When you're loud like me, you get a lot of backlash. Right, Cindy?
I'm sure you've heard stories about me.
No, I've never.
And not all of them are untrue. I'm going to admit that not all of them are untrue, just so you know.
Never heard, and not one bad thing about either of you wonderful people.
Oh, I'm sure.
I can tell you some.
I can tell you the stories.
Yeah, me too. No, I haven't.
But Neil, we have to pick up the torch and keep it going.
That's what I'm doing.
That's what has to be done. And it has to, I see a lot of people across the country who love and adore that man, who want to do that cross country. They want to continue on. They want to keep the fight going. And I think it's beautiful that that's being done. And I can only hope and pray that it is done in unity.
Now, I just want to bring something up because one thing I've noticed over the last little while is the support for the 420 aspect has dropped quite a bit. And when I talk to people, what I get now is, but it's legal, but it's legal. And a lot of people don't understand why the protest.
That's what July 1st is going to be all about. Everyone's asking why are you doing this? You can find out on July 1st. Come on down and hear why. You'll know why.
Yeah,
So,
and
if you want to know why, go look at some of my videos on my Cannabis Substitution Project Surrey page of the 420 event where the CSU is telling me I can't give away doobies. So I gave them away anyway, right in front of them. I can't give away anything for free. You're not allowed to gift. You're not allowed to do anything. You're not allowed to do this. You're not allowed to do that. I'm just like,
yeah, it's things are legalized. There is a legality to it. There are stores across Canada, yes, but it hasn't. We're not done yet.
No,
like it's not done yet.
No, if you require it for
highly regulated
heavy
by the
medical.
government, it doesn't give a shit about people. It gives a shit about profits. That's what it's about.
Yeah, so it's not done yet. We have to help it get into the right spot. I've got a friend who works in mainstream media, and we've had this argument a gajillion times. He's like, "But Cindy, I can go buy it," and I'm like, "Well, good for you." And that's really lovely that you've got 5 stores within a 5-minute walk, and I'm really excited for you. But they still have it wrong, and we have to help them get it right. And we can't help them get it right by sitting on our hands. We help them get it right by having protests. That's how we got it legalized in the first place.
Yeah, and if it's medical, like if you're a cancer patient that needs at least a gram a day of
oil,
extract cannabis oil, if you're going to a dispensary, you're going to have to mortgage your house.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it's
not
not
they raise the
accessible.
cost, and they put stipulations on how you can grow, propagate, deliver everything. Like everything is, and I understand it was just the beginning, and that we do have far to go, and that changes will be made. But we know how fast the government works. I'll be dead before it becomes completely free. I'm talking a free plant, a decriminalized plant. It's still criminalized, it's still propagated, and it's still regulated highly.
Yes.
Not legal. It's only legal for the government. That's it. It's not legal for me to sell it or grow. I can grow it, but there's stipulations on that. How many I can grow and
how high you can grow them.
And how high it can be and all that shit, right? So, like, people don't read between the lines. I don't know what's wrong. Like, you can pull up the Cannabis Act. It's 400 pages long. That's their legalization, the Cannabis Act. Okay, that's a wholesale condemnation of a plant because they're trying to protect youth and public safety. Fuck you. Not even true. Sorry.
Which is funny because you can you go into a dispensary and you can only walk out with an ounce of weed. But if you go into a liquor store, you can push out a shopping cart full of booze.
And pull one behind you at the same time.
Yeah. Like there is still some weirdness in there that.
And I'm pretty sure though that 60% freaking that shit kill me, man. I cannot drink alcohol. No, can't do it.
It's a poison, and they're finally putting out the science on it.
Why do they not have laws and bylaws around how close a liquor store can be to a school or? Because there was a liquor store right across the school in Penticton. I was just in Penticton all weekend. Like, there's a liquor store, there's the playground. So there's no stipulations around liquor stores and near playgrounds, but there is for dispensary. You can be within what? How many miles from a school? Right? Like, I don't get it. Like, why are they treating it like a demon drug like they always have? Look at the commercials from the 50s. Come on, then you'll know the government's a lie. But sure, though. Remember we beat straight jackets? We're going to fucking psych ward, right? Yeah, I don't know.
Where do you see the cannabis substitution program in 5 years?
You know what? My vision has always been a small shop with a nice sign, cannabis replacement program, substitution project, drop-in center. You come in, low barrier access, which is supported. You know what? If the government would work with me and give me an exemption, you have to use, this is their thing. If you're going to do this, you need to use licensed marijuana. That's from the government. Okay, fine. Give it to me then. Let me do it then. You support. You be the weed fairy then, and I'll do the CSP. Give me an exemption to run the program under your umbrella. And so I can have a little shop that can be regulated and maintained, right? And I can actually offer this type of service I want to offer, which is like frontline support and help to a medicine. Like, everybody's ready for abstinence. We need to understand this. Not everybody's ready to take the leap and jump into abstinence from hardcore drug use. So maybe baby steps are what they need. Also, I'm in the process now. I don't know if you knew about the Magnuson Foundation that me and Dan built. We have an official society that is we paid thousands of dollars. It's a legit. The Magnuson Foundation is a legit nonprofit society. So we're looking at getting a residential site location because I want to start a recovery program. That's, if you just smoke a doobie, do some edibles, I'm going to kick you out. I'm going to tell you something. I'm in the recovery world very well too. And a lot of recovery houses in Surrey, you smoke a doobie, you're back out on the street. What? Why? They smoked a doobie. They didn't smoke meth.
Because they can put another person and get another $1,000 for that month.
You're not abstinent. You're not abstinent. See the gap I'm trying to fill here? So okay, now if there's a guy in the recovery house that smoked a doobie and says, "Oh, I want to use cannabis. I can't do abstinence," could go to Rosie's house. I'm filling a gap. The guy isn't going back into full-blown freaking street mode. He smoked a doobie. You hear what I'm saying? I hear
and
it all
I
the
watched
time.
that. I watched some of it
I go
because
the
of
street
the
when I smoke
shunning
some
that
weed.
came along.
Yeah.
And the guilt factors that they would have. I watched it happen.
They stuck a needle in their arm. It's like, do you realize it was a doobie, right? See, I'm such a harm reductionist. That's where my perspective. How do we reduce the harm involved in toxic, harmful substance use? How do we do that? And I just use myself as a vice to do that because I used to be a hardcore IV drug user. I've been clean over 15 years. And I'm telling you, 15 years ago, you would ask me where I've been in 5 years. I would have said dead, hopefully. That's what I would have said to you because I didn't want to live. So that didn't tell you how much medical cannabis has saved my life, my perspective, my whole being. I don't know. And I'm not, like people have this view of cannabis, like we sit around and smoke weed all day. No, I work full time. I am raising 2 boys. I run a CSP outreach every week. I do all kinds of things. I maintain a household. I have dogs. I have animals. I have a life. I don't just smoke pot and veg out on my couch all day and eat food. So even removing those stigmatic, visions people have and perspectives people have is huge for me. Educating people. It's not about getting angry, it's about education. You're obviously not properly notified, right? Or informed. So that's my goal, is just to educate people and bring down the walls that have always been built around a plant that grows freely out of the ground, that saves people's lives, that, saved my life. I don't fucking think I'd be alive today.
No, I've met quite a few people that it's had a hand that them using that medicine has made their life a lot better and the road a lot less rocky.
Yeah, it's trivial, trivial. And finally, after 6 years of being out of the 12-step program, I've kind of come at peace with it. And I will, I thank a lot of the community and that I've been surrounding myself with, a lot of you guys, and getting involved and getting my voice heard, because the story is powerful. And that's why I try to share it, because I people have shame. I have no shame. I have no shame telling you I used to dumpster dive for pop cans because I wanted to get unsick. I have no shame in my story. It is what it is. That's not who I am today. And drugs make you a desperate person, right? So
yeah.
Yeah.
And the things of your past, they just define who you were. The things you do now define who you are.
That's right. Or what I did at the time with what I knew how. I say that too. We cope, right? We all have coping mechanisms in life, right? We're using healthy coping mechanisms now. If I'm mad, I can go for a walk today, not just, suck on a pipe, Or if I'm angry, I can breathe and I can calm down today. I don't have to use something external to get myself out of that emotion. I can, and then, I have so much respect for the plant, the cannabis plant. I as well, Cindy. You know, have tried using. I've microdosed mushrooms as well, ashwagandha. I've taken a lot of adaptogen herbs like shagan, reishi mushrooms, lion's mane. I use all those things, and I truly believe in them. And I think they're
awesome. Eh?
They're there for a reason. They're put on this earth for us to use, and people have used it since the beginning of time, thousands and thousands of years. Why do you think people used to chew on coca leaf so they could hunt all night, right?
Yep.
So it's all about respecting nature. Yeah, you know, like I don't agree. Some people can't use cannabis. It doesn't work for them.
It doesn't work for everybody. That's very true.
That's okay. Because a world of billions of people, we're not saying that it will. But if there's someone that
and
will,
there's lots
then
of
hallelujah.
plants, right?
Huh?
There's lots of plants. If that's not the one that's working for you, start trying some of the others.
I know I got a lot of people to try out some microdose chocolates, and I've turned a lot of people to those too. They're like, wow, like that like changed, like it changed my whole mood. They say, and I go, yeah, I know. It resets your brain a little bit.
Yep.
Gives you a reset. If you do a macrodose, you know, I find if I choose to do a macrodose maybe every 3 months because it resets my brain. If I do a macrodose, not a microdose, like a macrodose, like I'm talking like a gram or two, right?
Yeah.
And it resets my brain into some kind of, I don't know, I can't explain it. You know, maybe, but.
Yeah,
listen, you don't have to explain it. We understand.
Yeah, I haven't tried Kako though. I've not tried that.
Oh, well, you should try it.
Well, I wish I could. You're all the way on the other side of the frickin' Canada.
He's right there.
Oh yeah, I guess it could.
He serves cacao as well. It's beautiful medicine. Yeah.
You live in the same part of the earth as me, right?
I am. We can set up a cacao ceremony. I'll invite you in.
Ooh.
You and it's such a gentle, loving, kind medicine, and I find that the general consensus for most people as they leave the medicine, I talk to them the next day, they are filled with, they explain it as, I just feel unconditional love for everybody and everything.
Oh,
really? That's the effect they're getting, and it's so beautiful.
Interesting. Yeah. That's interesting.
And the best part is there's a whole bunch of science behind how good it is for your heart and what it does for your immune system.
Really?
Yep.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, cacao is a magic food.
Powerful herbs and plants that can heal our bodies. I believe our answer to all these shit that's going in our bodies, like cancer, could be prevent. I don't think you can actually. You know, I don't know about getting rid of cancer, but for preventing it, there are ways to do that.
Yep.
Right. So.
Yeah, you got to keep the toxins out of the system. That's the big thing. Whether the toxins come from your environment, you're coming in through your ears, your eyes, your lungs, your skin, but you've got something toxic in your environment, and you need to modify it and make some changes. And I tell you, we're programmed to eat a whole lot of shitty food and drink a whole lot of shitty drinks. You know, there's a lot of the stuff that's marketed as good for you, like. It's not so good. Not so good.
Just like my kids, those prime drinks that have forever chemicals in them. You mean? My sons love.
If I'm not mistaken, that one has psychocobalamin in it, which is taken from cyanide.
I wish that before I let them drink the fucking thing.
That's gross. It comes from cyanide.
Yeah, psychocobalamin. Yeah, it's used in a lot of the energy drinks.
It's cyanide.
Yeah.
I told my sons that, and they finally went, "No, I don't want it, Mom." Good. Because you're not getting it either, unless you get a job and buy yourself one. I don't think you're going to do that.
Come on, small amounts of it are okay. It won't kill you. Who's died from cyanide? What?
Just like processed food, right? How do you think you keep food good on the shelves? You got to put alterants in it, right? You know, to keep it shelf life. So, like, what is it? It's not food they're using to make it shelf life. It's chemicals and garbage. Like, listen, our fruits and stuff should not look so good. They should be a little bit damaged and, you know, a little bit hurt and a little bit, because they make them look like that by spraying them down and coloring them and whatever the fucking else they do to modify them.
If the bugs
I'd rather
don't
eat a
want
brown
to eat
banana
them,
than a freaking, huh?
If the
What?
bugs don't want to eat them, do you really want to eat them?
Exactly. That's terrible, man. That's
Gross.
put
Whoa.
the grocery chain up in one sentence. If the bugs want them, we eat them.
But they look good, and we buy with our eyes.
That's exactly. Oh, that's true. It's anything with food. It's a lot about smell, sight, right? That's what attracts us to the food. If the food looks gross, like it looks like a pile of poo, you probably don't want to eat it. You're like, bleh, but it may taste good, maybe chocolate ice cream. But if initially I look at it, I can't eat that. I don't care if it's ice cream. I don't care if it's like golden sugar. I don't want it, right?
Golden sugar. That was my impersonation of Homer.
So I guess I'm going to be on the other TV show today.
Which other one?
Show.
The which?
The THC show. Me and Dan tonight.
Oh, nice. On Neil's show. That's
because Glenn's been filming for him, so he asked if because he's running out of ideas. So okay, we'll come down and help you. So we'll be
awesome
down there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, if people want to get a hold of you and find out more, or if people want to donate or help you out, how do they get a hold of you?
Okay, so there is a website up and running now, the Cannabis Substitution Project.ca is the website. And there is a donate button on the website. If people want to donate, they can scroll to the bottom of the main page. They can kind of look over some of the work we've done, some of the things we're doing. I have a lot of work I'm still doing to the site because I built it myself. I paid for it myself. And I want to put all the divisions of the CSP in there. More history of the Vancouver CSP and how everything came into play. I want to add a lot of other extra things in there. But I'm trying to look for some outside help in getting it strained out, right? Because I want it to be interactive, and I want to put the membership, because there's a membership as well for people who need low barrier access, right? So the Cannabis Substitution Project, is it coming up, Cindy?
No, I'm not finding it here.
I'll send you the link.
Okay.
Because I've been working on it and stuff, and so I did get a site up. Also, like I'm on Facebook. I do a lot of posting, mostly on Facebook. Like the CSP Surrey outreach page is mine. And the CSP Surrey Facebook profile is also just another extension of me, myself, just promoting that, because you need a profile. I needed to create a whole other thing for CSP. Facebook is the main one, right? And there it is, CSP Surrey Outreach. That's the banner we created.
Yeah, so you can go here and just click the message button to reach out to her.
Yeah, the poster for Cannabis Day is coming on July 1st. And also the CSP, the Cannabis Association. Now there's the website. There you go. Combating the opioid crisis. There you go. See, donate now. So you can click and donate. There's this donate button at the bottom as well. I'm working on it. It's getting there. There's also a gallery there, a bunch of shots and stuff, some of the things we do. So
nice.
Yeah, you can request info to be a member, but there's no like official like sign up, whatever. Yeah, pretty nice.
Nice, good.
Yeah, see? There we are. There's a donate link. Yeah. Hey. Not bad for a rookie. I have to be every marketer too, it's hard.
Well, hopefully you'll get people working in behind you and coming along with you.
Well, when I paid for the site and started working on it, Neil was on board, right? And I said, Neil, how come you don't have a website? And he's like, oh, I've never thought about having a website. I'm like, but I bet you a lot of people look for you online. He's like, oh. So I said, well, I think I'm going to put one together, Neil. And he's like, okay. And so, like, I wanted his feedback now that he's got sick. I'm just kind of having to, I don't know. I'll go there today and touch base with the crew. And
yeah, so you are heading to the hospital to visit Neil when we're done here.
Well, I'm going to his shop first and do the THC show. And then Dan and I are going to go over to the hospital.
Okay.
And see Neil for a little while.
I thought the THC show was right because in Vancouver.
No, it's cannabis culture. He posts. It's called the THC show, but he usually does it off of the cannabis culture page.
Yeah, and that's at 4. You guys start at 4:00 your time, correct? Yeah. Yeah. Right.
Oh,
so
you're by then, is it like 9, 10 o'clock there? Yeah.
Yeah, it's much later here. Yeah, I'm 4 hours ahead of you guys.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah. But when you go see Neil later on, please take love from both of us here, all of us here, not just both of us, but all of us here. He's a big influence in this natural medicine world, and we love him dearly.
He's been my mentor.
Yeah,
especially when it comes to this program, this harm reduction program, laying it out and the vision and the mission he had, and creating the Magnuson Foundation. He's not going anywhere in vain, and we're gonna have a society. It's already built. It's just a matter of getting the mortar and bricks put together, and really being able to do the work Neil always wanted to do. Right. And so that's the next step.
Okay. We are at that time. So is there any last little bit that you would like to share or say before we go?
No, I think I'm good. I just want to say thank you for inviting me on the show. I appreciate you guys giving me a platform to share.
Thank you for coming on.
Yeah, no, that's really awesome. I really appreciate that. And I look forward to getting to know you guys better as we move down through this journey together. And I'm sure I'll see you again soon, Cindy. Right?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. We're already planning 420 next year.
Nice.
Hopefully,
you guys were planning 420 next year before 420 this year was over.
The mayor's already programming how to block you from 420 next year.
Oh, what are we gonna do? The art gallery? She's coming back. We know it. She's not going anywhere. Oh, that redhead. Oh yeah, I'm coming. You will see me a mile away. Oh, in the crowd of thousands of people, all you see is the red hair. Hey.
Yeah.
Okay. On that note, it's that time again. So thank you for joining us here. Thank you, Rosie. Thanks for being with us on the Mushy Moment with myself and my awesome co-host, Cindy. And we're proud to be coming to you live from paceradio.net and streaming everywhere. I even learned you can find us on Spotify.
Oh, that was cool. Do that again.
I have no idea what I did.
I don't know, but that was cool.
That was. I thought you did it.
No.
Wow. Okay, well, we should go.
Okay. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
You're listening to the Pace Radio Network here at paceradio.net.
The opinions of the individuals during this broadcast are their own, and may not be the opinions of their group or other organizations they may be involved with. All medical advice during our broadcast is not a medical opinion and should be checked with your medical physician.
When you have a pain that's reached its peak, Legacy for 20 is so unique. If organic cannabis is what you seek, here's your trusted partner 7 days a week. Suppository salves, vapes and drops, topicals, edibles, infused pop. Just when life seems like it ain't easy, at Legacy 420 enjoy a pop freezy. Lab tested products make them the GOAT. Legacy 420 out on your road. Legacy 420 in Tyendinaga Mohawk territory. Indigenous organic cannabis at its finest.
Enjoy the buzz of legalization with Campbellford Lifestyle Shop. From lights to plant nutrients, books, consumption accessories, and more, we've got all your basics to grow or consume cannabis. Visit our info center or take a look at our piercing services and body jewelry, now available in-store through Campbellford Lifestyle Shop, 17 Bridge Street West, Campbellford.
Limestone City Hydroponics is Kingston, Ontario's hydroponics shop. Take your growing to the next level and create the optimal environment with a tent kit, or maximize your yield with an ebb and flow flood table kit. Either way, Limestone City Hydroponics has more sizes and options to fit your needs. Are you looking for the power of the sun that adapts to your budget? Then look no further, as they have professional grow lighting. They have indoor grow systems that are easy and cost effective, with many options to fit your living space and lifestyle. Cultivate your growing potential. We have everything you need to succeed. And if you can't make it to the store, they offer local delivery to the greater Kingston area. Remember, when you're looking for experts to help you grow, then look no further than the locally owned Limestone City Hydroponics, 105 Sunderland Drive in Kingston, Ontario. Call them at 613-548-0420. We are people advocating cannabis education here at paceradio.net.